Good day, my name is Doug. I am playing 7 Days to Die, Alpha 18.4, the stable version. And I believe I had mentioned, normally I wouldn't start this in the middle of the night, but we're going to be sitting here up all night anyway. Excuse me, I've been a little sick, but I'm going to be sitting up here all night anyway. It's night one, there's nothing I can do. I did mention earlier in one of my last videos that I hadn't assigned my points yet, and that is actually where we're going to start off at. So let's go ahead and bring up our user interface. Okay, this is the skills menu, and this is where you assign points. Now I should be really clear, for those of you who played this game for a while, this is going to be absolutely boring. You might as well skip this video. But if you're a new player and you're trying to figure out how you develop your character, this is actually kind of going to be a little primer on that. So, you bring up the skills menu, you'll see up here how many points you have available. I currently have 4 points available. These are the categories, your attributes, okay? So, we've got perception, we've got strength, we've got fortitude, we've got agility, and we've got intellect. The top entry in each menu is for that attribute, and you all start off with a level of 1 in each attribute. Okay, so you can see here level 1 of 10. Cost is 1 point. Now this does actually go up, and you can come over here and you get an idea of what leveling up will in each attribute will do for you. Okay, right now, you know, we're pretty oblivious in the perception department. Deal 200% headshot damage, so if I actually shoot somebody or hit somebody in the head, it does 200 points. And have a 5% chance to dismember with rifles, explosives, and spears. And that's going to be a little bit different for each one of these, because each one of them is going to deal with different types of weapons. So you can kind of see where we're going here. Just because this is like a little, you know, first aid cross, don't think of this as strictly just first aid. Okay. Now, the first 5 levels, I believe, are all 1 point, and then it goes to 2 points for 6, 7, and 8. Yes, 9 is 3 points, and then 10 is also 3 points. These are your base attributes. Okay. Now, underneath underneath the base attributes are the associated skills. And when people talk about doing like a fortitude build or a perception build, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about concentrating all of your skill points into these areas. Now, I will tell you straight out, if you are running a multiplayer, you're running in a team that, you know, consistently forms and goes out and plays, doing a fortitude build makes total sense, okay, because you're specializing. But if you're playing a solo game, throw that out right now, okay? You are going to need skills out of every bill or out of every tree, and if you exclude those, I've seen videos where people have been very successful at that, but my personal point of view is if you're running a solo game, you need to be able to pick and choose as you need to. So, as you okay, let's go. Okay, so certain things will give you certain abilities. Okay, so for example, living off the land. Just, you have 0 skill here, okay, when you start. So if you apply 1, then it tells you what the skill or what the reward for taking that skill will be. So you take 1 level of living off the land, you become a gatherer. You now can collect 2 items from each wild or planted crop. So if you go to collect a blueberry, for example, without any skill in it whatsoever, you will get 1 blueberry from every plant that you harvest. If you are a gatherer, you get 2. And so you can see very quickly, this is one of what I consider to be the critical early game skills. You have to at least be able to get enough food to survive. You can't actually start to create seeds until you get to levels 2 and 3. Okay, and then we hit 3, and then you can work with mutated seeds. Um, this is all the choices that you make are how your character is going to develop. Okay, in the early game, I like to go with Javelin Master. I'm not going to this time because I've already picked up a pistol. I may regret that because pistol ammunition is short or is pretty can be very difficult to find. But it's been my experience in the Alpha 18 that pistol ammunition seems to come fairly with a fair amount of relative sorry, my brain stopped working. It's fairly common. Okay. What I do consider to be quite important is Master Chef. Okay, the reason for this is if you don't have a level of Master Chef, you can't cook yourself a food that lets you go. You have to go either off the canned stuff or you're eating raw vegetables. None of that really gives you a lot of food strength. God, that's the wrong word entirely. But anyway, this will actually enable me to make foods that will last me longer. I also consider the healing factor to be quite important. If I take any damage at all right now, I don't heal. I do not regain hit points. And actually, if you take a look at my health right now, it's 84 out of 100. Healing factor means that I will gain a hit point back every minute naturally, otherwise, and I don't have to rely on an external source of healing for that. Okay. Hang on for a second. Okay, here we go. Now, you've already seen the fact that I've already picked up the forge recipe. Okay, so there we go. So being able to craft forges really, or being able, I can already craft a forge. I don't have to worry about it. But to be able to advance beyond that to other workbenches, assuming that I don't find the recipes for them, and I may very well, don't get me wrong, you can actually pick up from books most of what you would actually assign points for, and the books can help you save points by being able to go into different directions. But I need to be able to plan in advance, and for that, it's like the last game I played, I got my schematics through books. I did not put any points into advanced engineering. I was never able to make a table saw. I was never able to make a cement mixer. I would have corrected that eventually, but because I opted to skip those, that had gotten pushed off. And so that would have hurt me eventually. So I actually consider advanced engineering one of the important things. Even though I already have the forge recipe, I am going to go ahead and assign my point there because I need to make sure that I be able to do that in order to build the base that I'm intending on building. Also, I need to get into Grease Monkey too so that I can get a bicycle. Okay. So that really is. Oh, and then finally, so far as the book goes, you can come to this last entry, perk books, and it will show you where you stand so far as having collected books, and it can also show you what the various advantages to them are. So this is just an area where you can find out what skills you have. So far as status goes, when you bring up this one, normally it's like, okay, well, this is how I'm dressed, but it also tells you all of your stats. How you're sitting at food, how you're sitting at water. Obviously, I need to eat and drink. There we go. There we go. And then also what your armor looks like. So, again, this is just where you can get stats. And then finally, let's go to the skills, to the crafting menu. Okay, certain things I can make, certain things I can't. If you bring up something, anything that you can currently make is going to be lit, okay? Anything you can't is going to be dim. And you come over here and find out why it is that you can't. In this case, it's because I don't have any plant fibers. And let's see. There we go. Iron Spear, you'll see, is locked. It means that I don't have the skill, either from a schematic or from the skills tree. And this will show you there's some things that you can only get through a schematic. I think there's also some things you can only get through the skills tree. So, but even when it's locked, you can still come get a description of it, what you need to repair it, or what you need to construct it. I hope this has helped. This is just going to be a little short video on skills and how to work the skills tree. If you like what I'm doing, please leave a like. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe. And comments are always welcome, both positive and critical, because I'm trying to improve my skills here. Okay, you have a good time, and we will start or pick up the next video in the morning.